Hi everyone, welcome to Paradise Wildlife Park and to Bird Weekend. My name's Tom. I'm going to be telling you all about our wonderful birds who are going to be coming out. I'm the section leader of the bird section. We're going to be meeting one of our birds, and then we've got a little special surprise and announcement for you later in the live as well, so make sure you do stay tuned to that. But today it is Bird Weekend. It's the start of our Bird Weekend where we're raising money for Bhutan, which is a charity that specialises in looking after Asian rainforests and specifically hornbills. So we're actually going to be meeting, first of all, Scally, who is our African spotted eagle owl. She's going to come out and do some flying. I'll tell you all about that. If you've got any questions, let us know, and I'll answer any questions you do have as well. But yeah, come with me. We'll let Scally out. Fantastic. So this is Scally. So she's going to be joining us in our arena here. So Scally, as I said, is an African spotted eagle owl, and she gets that name for two reasons really. She's from Africa, so that's why she gets that part, and then the spotted part is because you can see she's covered with all of these wonderful spots. Now these spots are to help her to camouflage, because eagle owls actually tend to nest on the ground, and when nesting on the ground they can also be vulnerable to predators, so they need the best camouflage they can get. So when they're nesting on the ground, they'll be under a bush or anything like that where you get light and shade patternings from the sun. She's going to blend in really, really well and be very hard for those predators to spot. You'll also notice these wonderful little eyebrows or tufts on the top of her head. Lots of people think they're her ears, but they're not. They're actually a bit more like eyebrows. Essentially, why they have those is to look a bit like ears, so they can scare other animals away. So they make it look a bit scary, more like a cat, dog, fox, something that's going to essentially scare predators away from her nest and keep her and her chicks nice and safe. We're going to see if she wants to do a nice little flight back to me. So with all of our birds, when they're out and about and flying, everything they do is all by their own choice. We don't force them to do anything they don't want to do. So with Scally, she can take her time about things. If she wants to go and have a nice sunbathe, then she's more than welcome to go and do that. And then when she's ready, she'll bring herself back, but she knows she's going to get a nice tasty treat as well. Now, interestingly, with owls, we can tell a lot about them based on the colour of their eyes. So you can see Scally's got these amazing yellow coloured eyes. Now, that actually generally tells us that this type of owl would be up during the daytime, and that's because this colour eye is better at reflecting bright sunlight, so it enables them to see better at that time. If an owl was to have orange coloured eyes, they'd actually be up at sunset and sunrise time. And then if they were to have brown coloured eyes, they would be up at night time or nocturnal. So actually not all owls are nocturnal like we're used to be told all the time. However, despite me saying all of this, actually the African spotted eagle owl is one of the rule breakers. And despite the fact that they have yellow eyes, they are more likely to be up at night time out in Africa. And that's just because that's when most of the food that they like to eat is around. The type of things that she would be eating, she's a bird of prey, so she will eat other animals. It's going to be things like small rodents and even things like snakes and lizards as well. We're going to see if she wants to do a little bit more flying. So you can see her spread her wings. And obviously if you've got any questions, remember to chuck them into the comments, and we'll answer any questions we do have about the wonderful Scally here. Where do you want to go? And you want to stay with me?
We've got a question.
Yeah.
How old is Scally?
So Scally here is actually one of our eldest residents that we have here at Paradise Wildlife Park. And Scally is actually 33 years old, so she's going to be 34 pretty soon. So she is what we classify as geriatric now, technically. Out in the wild, eagle owls generally won't live much past the age of around 15 to 20. However, in captivity, they have been known to live up to and even over 40 years old. So can live for a long time in the right conditions. Now, despite her small size, she's actually got quite a big wingspan. So her wings are actually roughly around about sort of 4.5 foot in length. So very, very big, despite how little she is. And again, despite, I say how little she is, and now I'm going to say despite how big she looks, she actually doesn't weigh that much. So Scally here only weighs around about 700 grams. So really not that heavy at all, considering her size. If you imagine our meerkats, they're actually quite a bit smaller than Scally, but they actually weigh more than her. Now, generally you want to be quite light if you're flying, otherwise it's going to be quite hard to defy gravity. So that's why they'll look big and scary, again, to scare these predators away. However, they're nice and light, so they can ensure that they're able to fly. She's very chatty. She likes to have her input on things, definitely. you don't do this for 33 years without having something to say.
And where does Scally come from?
So she out in the wild would be found in the kind of more northern parts of Africa, towards the kind of middle region as well. But generally, yeah, more northerly than she wouldn't be found in South Africa, for example. So yeah, the northern parts of Africa.
What's your favourite bird?
My favourite bird? Well, that's a really tough question. Obviously, I love all of our individuals that we have here. But I guess my specific favourite would probably be hornbills. Really, I would say they are my favourite to be honest with you. So they are good fun, and they're really unique, and they're quite. Lots of people think they're ugly, but I think they're really good looking. To be fair, so.
Okay. What can we look forward to at Bird Weekend?
So we have lots going on throughout the weekends. We have lots of fun games for everyone to partake in, and we have Biru, who's one of our hornbills here. We've got Biru's Bakery, so we've got lots of nice cakes and brownies and cookies and things like that, as well as, like I said, lots of games. We're also doing a really nice chance for people to be able to feed our penguins a cup of fish as well, again for a small donation. And all the money raised from all of this, like I said, goes towards our wonderful hornbill charity that we're donating money to. So that's really good fun, so make sure you get here nice and early to book your slot to be able to chuck some fish in for our penguins. That'll be great fun. And then we have something really special as well, which is not an experience we normally do. It is especially for this weekend, where you'll actually get a chance to meet our hornbill boys. Now, speaking of that, we're actually going to go and meet our hornbill boys now, so I think we should pop Scally back in her home. And then we'll go and meet our boys, so you can see what that experience might be like if you're lucky enough to be able to purchase that. This is where I've said that now and she wants to stay out in the sunshine for longer. Go home with. Wonderful. Excellent. Cool. And there. Perfect. So yeah, so as I said, as a special treat for this weekend, we are giving people the opportunity to purchase an experience with our hornbill boys. Now, this is a one-off experience. This is not something we usually sell here at Paradise Wildlife Park, but like I said, all the money raised here on this weekend will be going towards a hornbill charity to help save hornbills out in the wild of Asia. So it really is a special thing to be able to do. So let's get ourselves ready to pop in here. So this lovely chap here, this is Biru, and Biru is one of our black hornbill chicks. Yeah, he's actually just over a year old now. He was actually hatched out here at Paradise Wildlife Park last year, and he is, as you can see, a super friendly chap to say the least. He does share this enclosure with his younger brother, who is sitting up high at the moment, eagerly looking to see if he's going to come down and get some nice tasty treats as well. As you can see, they're really gentle, and Biru here is a male. We know that he's a male because of this nice white beak that he has. So with black hornbills, the females will generally have a black beak, and the males will have a white beak. Now he's also just in the age he's coming to now. He's starting to be able to grow his lovely casque on the top of his head. So this casque is really important for hornbills because it's a bit like a megaphone. So it's hollow, and that means that when they actually make their noise, it will produce a really loud sound, and it can be heard up to roughly around 2 to 3 miles away in this species. In bigger hornbills can be heard even further than that. With that, it means they're able to attract a female to come into their area, and then they can hopefully build a nest with them and have some wonderful chicks. Now, like I said, these are black hornbills. Again, probably don't have to be a genius to work out why they're called black hornbills. They do have this lovely black coloration all over their body, which again is a wonderful camouflage for them, keeps them nice and hidden, especially the females being completely black, because when they build their nests, they'll actually use hollowed out trees, and they'll go into the tree and they'll seal themselves in using anything they can find. So it'll be things like mud, it'll be their own poo, it'll be food, and they'll create a tiny little hole where they're completely safe and sealed, and then it'll be the male's job to actually deliver food to the female. So really important job that the males do play. The female can actually end up being in that nest box for anywhere up to kind of 3 to 4 months of the year, while she's rearing the chicks, and the male has to deliver her food and the chicks' food all that time that they're actually in that nest. So really do play a very important role with that. Interestingly as well, most of the trees that these guys will actually end up making their nests in are usually ones that have had honey nests or bee nests in them that actually sun bears have excavated. So sun bears is quite a big thing here at Paradise Wildlife Park at the moment, and actually sun bears are really helpful for helping things like hornbills have a nice nest to be able to go and build in. So really is important. I did say that all the money that we raise on this weekend is actually going towards a charity called Hutan. Now, Hutan is actually based out in Borneo, and they have a specific region out there that they have protected, and they work not only with hornbills but with lots of other animals as well. But one of their key things is trying to make sure that humans and animals out in that region can actually cohabit and live with each other, and be able to coexist. So they play a really good role, not just in providing artificial nest boxes for hornbills to actually nest in, but also in ensuring that the public out there also do get an education and actually help look after the animals that are there as well. So we've been joined by Kadua now as well. So Kadua is the younger of our two, getting his food stolen by Biru currently. So he is the younger of the two. So you'll notice when they're next to each other that Biru's casque on the top of his head, which is actually, casque is French for helmet. He's got quite a bit smaller than what Biru does have, and that's just where they're obviously he is a little bit younger. But these two are part of a very important breeding program for European zoos. Now with black hornbills, there's actually only roughly around 28 of them in European zoos as part of this breeding program. So the fact that we managed to breed these two last year is really key for the species. And Kadua, at some point in the future, is actually going to be travelling over to a zoo in Europe to actually start his own family as well. Biru is likely going to be staying with us, and he's going to get his own partner here in the future, just because our other two that we have, Darwin is our eldest male, and he is actually getting a little bit old now, so he is actually 18, and generally they stop being able to reproduce quite so well until when they're in their 20s, although they can still continue living up until they're 30. So yeah, Biru will likely be staying, but Kadua is going to go somewhere fancy, meet his new partner at some point, and be part of the breeding program as well.
What are they eating?
So currently I am offering them blueberries. Before I was giving them Morio worms. Now you can tell that Kadua doesn't mind blueberries. He likes them quite a lot. Biru was actually named after blueberries because he used to absolutely love them when he was younger. But as you can see, sometimes he's not quite so much of a fan of them. He much prefers the worm. But these guys are omnivores, so they'll eat anything and everything they can find out in the wild. Most of their diet is made up with fruits, and then a very small part of it will be made up with any bugs and insects they can find as well. You're just throwing them on the floor now. That was them trying to share food with each other, and then Biru decided he didn't like it. So,
Okay. And you can meet these two.
This
weekend.
This weekend. So we are. It's only going to be for a few people, and it is a paid for kind of experience. But like I said, all the money from that will actually go towards hornbill conservation that we're supporting. Like I said, it's a one-off experience. It's not one that we normally do. But as you can see, these guys are great fun, super friendly, and nice to meet. So so that will be happening this weekend. So today and tomorrow. So make sure you get here early because it is limited. It's only going to be for a few people. So if you want to book this, then make sure you do get here and go to our bird weekend stall early to make sure that you are one of the lucky few that get to meet them.
Excellent.
Perfect. Right, we'll see you later, boys. Good stuff.
So just tell us about bird weekend, how we get involved.
Yeah, so if you want to get involved in Bird Weekend, and make sure you turn up today and tomorrow to be able to visit our wonderful stall that we have. We'll also have our bird shows going on as well throughout the day, so come and visit those. But yes, if you want to get involved, then head towards our Bird Weekend stall, which is based outside our HQ. Chat to our keepers that are over there. They'll tell you all about our wonderful hornbills and other birds, and also encourage you to get involved in our games and buy some treats and sweets and cakes as well. And like I said, with all that money going towards this wonderful charity called Hootan that we're supporting this year.
Lovely.
All right, we'll see you later, everyone. Thank you.